Hey guys, in today's episode, we look back at the week of the backup QBs, and then we talk about our favorite underdog stories of all time.
Welcome to the Coach and Commish podcast. No, not Adam Gase, and definitely not Roger Goodell. It's Chris and Sean breaking down fantasy football for the everyday man.
Welcome back. You are here with the Coach and Commish. I'm Chris. Sean here to my right. Let's jump into some fantasy news as we look back from last week, and it was all about the backup quarterbacks. We had Cooper Rush, Mike White, Geno Smith, Davis Mills, all scoring enough to be top 12 QBs.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have thought of any of those guys doing that.
No, the unfortunate part of that is you probably had a quarterback that underperformed comparatively.
Oh, yes.
But at least you didn't have any of these played against you in most leagues.
Now, out of these four quarterbacks, let's just say they're all starting. For most of it, probably three of these guys are. But if they were all to start next week in week 9, would you pick up any of these guys if you're looking for waiver flyers?
No way, Jose.
No way. Not even the Mike White.
No, I mean,
Jets.
If you're in a 2 QB league, then yeah, sure, pick him up. But no, I'm not starting him over a lot of other options on the waiver wire.
And my thing is, nobody probably had these guys starting at all. And so it's just going to look a little funky when you go to your waiver wire pickups. And don't fall for it. Stay with the normal guys. This probably won't be a repeat. But you know what? Something a normal name we see in fantasy killing it week to week is Derrick Henry.
Oh, no.
And now he
Sad
is
music.
out. Yes, cue sad music. How hard is this for us to take in? This is another running back.
It's a lot harder for
out.
Morgan than it is for us. But
Yeah.
He's been to somebody that if you had him on your team, you're probably poised for the playoffs at this point. And you're also looking at the fact that you're probably going to watch those hopes disappear unless you make some serious moves. It's unfortunate. It's like you said, another running back. It's year after year. This is how it goes. This is why you should keep handcuffs. And I kind of used to be of the belief that I didn't like to hold them until closer to the playoffs. But if you're in a 12-team league at this point, you need to be getting that backup on your bench. If you got Joe Mixon, Samaje Perine better be on your bench. If you have Dalvin Cook, you better have Alexander Madison. I mean, it's happening all over the place. So be ready. Even Mark Ingram. Pick up Mark Ingram. If you got Alvin Kamara and you can do so, get him on your bench.
Now, with this happening, this Derrick Henry injury coming out, almost immediately, Adrian Peterson gets on a plane. He goes to visit Tennessee. The offense fits Adrian Peterson's run style. Is he worthy of fantasy consideration? Adrian Peterson was like maybe 36 years old.
Yeah.
Would you go pick him up in your leagues?
I would. I don't think I would spend a lot of fab. I think that this probably becomes more of a timeshare between McNichols and Peterson. No one can replace Derrick Henry with one single back. They're going to need 2, and you're probably still going to fall quite short of that mark. So I think Peterson will be... It's not like they brought Peterson in to be a backup. I don't think it's straight McNichols. I think it's more of a mess than anything. But if you want to take a chance, like you said, his run style fits it. If he's still in football shape enough, he could be an option for people. But he's not going to get the receiving work. Not that they throw a lot to the running back in that offense, but it's just it's bad all around. I wouldn't make one of my waiver claims be if I have that waiver priority, I wouldn't burn it on him, and I wouldn't be spending like 75% of my budget.
Oh no,
to go get this guy.
This could be good for Ryan Tannehill in fantasy
and AJ Brown and Julio Jones.
Yep. So if you got those guys, you probably were a little disappointed how the first half of the season's gone. Just hold on. Yeah. Now we're going to see more. volume.
Honestly, really Tannehill, because I think he runs the ball more. I think they're going to need him to be kind of. They're going to need to use a little bit of his rushing ability.
Okay, if we're going quarterback to quarterback here, Patrick Mahomes, under 20 fantasy points, which for him is unheard of. He scores below 20 fantasy
Should
points
people
in
drop
most
him?
formats. Are you worried? Should we drop him? I say no.
We shouldn't drop him.
No.
But I am a little worried. I think at this point you'd be naive to say that, it's Patrick Mahomes, it'll be fine. there's something going on in that offense. I think you kind of talked about it. You thought that the coaching they need to do a better job of seeing what the defense is doing and changing the offense.
I mean, it's twofold there in Kansas City. If you watch the games, wide receiver 2 and below can't catch a ball. It hits them in the head, goes through their hands, and then because CEH needs to come back, because if they can't run the ball respectively, those 2 high safety looks, if you know anything for football coverage, that's what's keeping them from throwing the ball deep like they're used to.
That's the I dare you to run on me defense.
Yeah. Hey, dink and dunk, which all the receivers outside of Tyreek Hill are dropping, or, it's not connecting. So you need a run game. And right now, Kansas City, the coaching side of it, I don't like what I see Andy Reid doing, because he's trying to be a little stubborn, saying our offense will work. We're going to keep throwing it deep and keep looking like, no, you need to adjust and take what that defense gets you, get a run game established, because your defense can't hold anybody down.
So a question for you then. What do you do with Patrick Mahomes? Let's say you have Patrick Mahomes, and we talk all the time about quarterbacks are overvalued to many people. So there may be a guy in your league that still believes that Patrick Mahomes was worth a 3rd or 2nd round pick that he was in a lot of leagues. Do you think you go to that guy and you trade away Patrick Mahomes while he has that value? Are you doing the opposite? Are you finding those people that are on the verge of ready to drop Patrick Mahomes? I think he's been all right, hasn't he? It's just this week was really kind of the down week.
Yeah, it's been like this slow.
But you're not getting what you draft. If somebody drafted him in the 2nd round, you're not. I'm talking to you, Mike.
Yeah.
Then you are not getting what you paid for. Like you should be getting a top 5 quarterback every week, and he's barely been in the top 10, I think, a few times. So.
You got a Kansas City fan or a Mahomes lover, trade him for a starting running back when everything's really bleak right now. Or I would do that, because you have guys like Tannehill, Carr.
Yeah, these guys are sitting on waiver wires
who can give you just as good fantasy points that Mahomes is giving you right now. And you can gain at another position that you need. Quarterback is, yes, way too overvalued when it comes to Mahomes' name, or because he's not a Kyler Murray that runs.
Yeah.
It's not a Lamar Jackson that gives you the running value.
Let me give you some names here. Like Chase Edmonds. Someone offered you Chase Edmonds for Patrick Mahomes. Are you making that deal?
Oh. No, I almost have to make that a 2-for-1 trade, man.
Okay.
If you're giving me just Chase Edmonds,
let me give you a wide receiver here. So somebody comes to you and they have, let's say, Chase Claypool, Robert Woods, or Keenan Allen. Is that enough of a level that you would trade away Patrick Mahomes for a piece like that?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's with the backup plan, knowing you're going to go find that other quarterback on the waiver wire. One of those receivers, those are top 12 finishers almost every week.
So that's something to look at. I would do the same. I think if you can find the value, if there's a running back that you like, I think that is a little undervalued. Like I wanted to say Joe Mixon, but he had a great week this week, so it's going to be difficult to pull that off. But if there's a player like that, maybe a Josh Jacobs, then you can go steal, be just on the basis of the name of Patrick Mahomes. I don't think all of a sudden everything's going to click and they're going to become the top number 1 offense again.
No, we were waiting for that for 2 weeks, and we didn't see it.
I think the big thing is the run game. I think people last year defenses kind of didn't adjust to the fact that they didn't have Kareem Hunt and they didn't have this fantastic run game, and so they still respected it somewhat. And then finally the teams are like, you know what? You can run all day on us. We're just not going to let you throw these deep bombs to Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And Kareem Hunt, they miss. Like that, Andy Reid is willing to run the ball when he has that player, and I just don't think CEH is it. So I think even when CEH comes back, they're going to struggle.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. It's trade Mahomes away. That's the crazy thing I never thought I would say.
But I would do the opposite. If somebody is like on the verge of dropping him, and you can send over some bench piece. Say you've got McNichols, and you want to. I'm spoiling your trade away player later, but that would be somebody that I would say, if he thinks he's going to be the next great running back, sure, go get Patrick Mahomes for Jeremy McNichols.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to some receiver talk. It was a really weird week. Chase Claypool, Hopkins, Jefferson, DJ Moore, all finished in most formats under 10 fantasy points. Is this a little hiccup, or is this some hard truth moving forward? Do we think these receivers are taking a major dip and we should panic, or it's like, hold on, it's just an odd week?
So our our good friends, the fantasy footballers. We're not friends with them. We wish if you want to be our friend, they always talk about the volatility of the wide receiver position in fantasy. Mm-hmm. Players have down weeks. Every single one of these, I don't care who you are. You just saw it with Mike Williams. You could have put in this list. He had a terrible week. It just happens, and you have to keep starting them when they have a name like this. Now, you do need to watch the injury with Hopkins, going individually here. Claypool, he's somebody that I still don't think to me, he's never reached that level of that I'm starting him for sure every week like these other guys. So I would be looking at matchups. He is one of only two, really good receivers in that offense right now, so I think you can still play him. Jefferson, right back into my lineup. DJ Moore, it's rough in Carolina right now, but they're supposed to get McCaffrey back at some point, and I think that will only help the offense. So really just keep starting these guys.
Okay. Yeah, it's just really odd when you see these guys 20s and below.
Yep.
But let's go to our party question of the week.
Ian, would you like to go to a party in my pants?
No, Brick.
All right, let's go.
All right, so our party question of the week. What is your favorite underdog story of all time, Sean? Like, looking at these quarterbacks, it's just kind of fun to see, like, Mike White, coming in.
Yeah, and they won, too.
All phenomenal,
Davis Mills didn't win it.
Yeah, Cooper Rush. I mean, he came in there, was like, as a Vikings fan, it sucked. But they kept panning over to his parents, and they were just going nuts.
It was cool to see.
It was really cool to see him succeed in the NFL. So look at these underdog stories. Sean, I like your pick here. Let's go with yours first.
Yeah, I mean, instantly when I saw the underdog, I didn't know if you meant specifically in sports, but that's where my mind went, and it was to those New York Giants, led by Eli Manning, in a Super Bowl that no one thought they could possibly win against the undefeated New England Patriots.
They had no business being with those guys.
Not at all, and then it turned out to be one of the best Super Bowls in NFL history with the David Tyree helmet catch.
It was amazing.
I was a Dolphins fan who was not able to drink champagne but was ready to pop my cork when we somehow the Giants have done it to them many times, so that some reason the Achilles heel of the Patriots is Eli Manning and the Giants because they've gotten 2 Super Bowls from them. So they're my forever underdog story that I just will absolutely love.
Yeah, I was watching the Manning brothers broadcast of Monday Night Football, and they have awesome guests come on. They brought Tom Brady on, and they mentioned about playing each other, and Tom Brady says, I really enjoyed my games against Peyton, but Eli not as much. And Eli's like, I enjoyed all our games, kind of throwing out there. He's like, yeah, I ended up winning. He's like, something was different. Eli would just saw the silver helmets of the Patriots, and it just like turned on for him, and he was unstoppable. And it was crazy that way. So that's a great one. Football related.
You got a sport one for us here too?
I do. It goes to hockey. This is like my favorite movie, but one of my favorite stories of all time, Miracle.
Okay.
All right. The USA Olympic hockey team defeating Russia, which was like undefeated for 20-something years in Olympic hockey. And this is before you started using
country pride.
Yeah, NHL guys were playing there. These younger fellas were playing for your countries in the Olympics. And, I mean, that movie that Disney put out, it's phenomenal. I can watch it a couple of times every year, and I don't care. I know what's happening. It just gets your juices pumping. Disney makes great sports movies.
Gets your eyes flowing.
Oh, yeah, a little bit of tears, a little pride there. But when you go in with a bunch of scrappers like the USA did, no one gave them a chance against this machine of Russia. And then they had to get over the hump. They beat Russia in the semis, and then they still had to come from behind to win gold. I forgot who they played. But it's like one of the few times USA Hockey did something phenomenal. But the great thing of like Al Michaels making the call, do you believe in miracles? Yes. Like everyone remembers that saying. And that's a true underdog story in sports there. They were like they play 100 times, 99 times. Russia probably would have won, but that one time they won that night.
Yeah. So if you've got your underdog story, it doesn't have to be sports related, let us know.
All right, so from party question to our turntables.
Well. How the turntables?
All right, our turntable guys this week here, we are talking about players we would trade away or trade for. So here are some targets that we think you should look out for. I'll start this off, Sean, because you mentioned him already. Jeremy McNichols.
Talking about this man a lot today.
You have to. Derrick Henry injury is going to shake up a lot of fantasy leagues for waiver wires of pickup for Adrian Peterson or McNichols. I searched, and I'm in like 8 leagues, right? I searched around for McNichols. He was picked up everywhere already.
Wow.
Last week, people were starting to pick up handcuffs and just volume guys for bye weeks because he was already kind of game planning the offense. So for most leagues, you're probably one of those where McNichols is already rostered.
So are you trading for this guy or are you trading him away?
Both.
Okay.
So I'm trading for him if I'm the Derrick Henry owner that's hurting right now.
Okay.
Trading for him if I've been terrible at RB2s and I can't get enough like touches to mean anything in your lineup. I would go for McNichols. Trade for him because you're not going to find anything else on the waiver wire. And if your guys on your roster are already really, really bad, like if you're putting Samaje Perine in at RB2, it's take him out and make a trade offer for Jeremy McNichols. Because some teams probably have him rostered if they picked him up last week and they have the RB depth. They might not need McNichols right now.
Let me throw a few names at you here. So players that you may try to trade for. Will you be trading for a Myles Gaskin? Or I guess give me the who's better rest of season in your eye right now. Would you rather have Myles Gaskin or would you rather have Jeremy McNichols?
I'd rather have a Myles Gaskin.
Okay. So, and then let's see, maybe a Devin Singletary, a Mike Davis, which
Mike Davis stay away from, so keep Jeremy Nichols there.
he's had 2 good weeks in a row, so he's somebody that if you can trade, I have been trying so hard to trade him. I didn't even want to keep him in this league that I have him in because I knew this was going to happen, but he was such a good value I kept. Yeah.
And
if
then,
you can trade that man, get rid of him.
Getting Singletary, but it depends on where your roster is hurting for McNichols. So trade him away if you got him and you don't need him. Like if you picked him up during the bipocalypse when you needed somebody to start there.
Would you try to go get like a Devonta Smith? He's had a rough go of it, but you think eventually they got to get that connection figured out.
You think eventually you do. I can't understand.
If you don't need the
offense
RB
in
depth,
Philly.
I think he's kind of a good target.
But trade for him as well if you need it. So
Yep.
it's kind of a catch-20. I don't know. How do you describe it?
If you could go to the Derrick Henry owner and he owned Jerry Jeudy, which is my pick, I think that would be a fantastic trade for.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about Jerry Jeudy a little bit. I talked about him last week as a start. Womp womp. That didn't work out too well. The Broncos' offense just looked terrible. I don't really understand what happened there. Washington finally figured out how to play defense, maybe. I don't know. It just didn't go well. But I think even more so now you have a chance to do it because last week what happened is you're trying to get, because I tried to approach the Jerry Jeudy owners and they were like, no, I've waited all this time. I want to see what I have. You know, I need to reap the benefits, not you. And then he came out and he sucked, like 4 or 5 points sucked. So I think now is the time that you could jump on this. He probably wasn't seeing the full allotment of snaps at the time. He's somebody that I just think you could go and try to get on the cheap right now. Like if you had a Jeremy McNichols, somebody hurting for running back that you could give them kind of one of these middling guys, somebody who's going to lose value, like a Devontae Booker. Eventually Saquon's coming back, and he's going to be useless to you. Go get Jerry Jeudy, in my opinion. How do you feel about Jeudy?
I feel Jeudy is the wide receiver one in that offense. I think Sutton is going to take a step back.
Okay.
Even toward the end of that game where they were struggling to make any offense work, just seeing Jeudy sideline catch. I mean, it was a beautiful sideline catch. Judy's the better talent that's underperforming. So, yeah, go get him.
Yeah,
I think he
was 72% at snaps, so he was almost up to his full, which is in some ways encouraging, meaning he looks healthy.
Yeah, he looks healthy, and he will get better. But if you find a Jerry Jeudy owner that is not patient, go grab him.
Yep.
All right, from our turntables, we go to our start-sit advice for this week. And Sean, looking back at these last couple episodes, people really need to listen to you and not to me. Like
I've done well. My Jeudy was a little
hit
rough,
all of them,
but I've hit a lot of them. Yeah, I was like, dang, I'm good.
Yeah, I was looking back. It's like, oh, I hit one.
Maybe that'll be next week's. We'll do a little review and see where we're at.
Yeah, we need to keep a little count.
Yeah, we'll put something on the line.
Yeah,
maybe a Dirty Buffalo dinner or something.
Ooh, there we go. Yeah, we can do that.
Might need to start from zeros though for
that'll give me a couple more weeks to catch up. All right, so our starts of the week here, Sean. I'll go to you. Who do we start this week?
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I
can't either.
I'm starting Myles Gaskin.
Gasp.
Yeah, Gaskin. I know it's been tough. He's been pretty up and down, but he is getting the work. I think he was my sit last week, which was a good option because the Bills' defense is really good, and I just think that this week is the week that you can go in there and you can start him. There's going to be running backs on bye. You got a DeAndre Swift is going to be on bye, so I just think that you're not going to be able to afford to sit Myles Gaskin this week. I'm trying to quickly pull up who he's playing this week. Oh, he's playing Houston. So you've got a great matchup for him this week. Houston, any week can be run on. So with Malcolm Brown being out, I think that Gaskin is going to continue to get the work, and he is talented in the receiving game. So I think that he'll probably find a way to get some big reception that will save your game, even if he's not into the end zone. I think he's kind of a safe play. Like if you're considering like an A.J. Dillon over him, I think that's kind of where I would still go with Gaskin. Yes, A.J. Dillon looked like he had a great game, but that was the game plan because they had no wide receivers.
Right, yeah.
And I don't think Dillon's going to get the volume that you're going to see with Gaskin. So he's somebody that I'd go over him. I would go with Gaskin over Devin Singletary, McNichols. We'll get to that later, but go ahead and give us your start.
So my start, because I've been really bad at it. I think I did okay last week, but
just pick a safe one here, maybe.
Yeah,
well, maybe.
No, this is out of the box thinking. Taysom Hill. Yes, the injuries right now to the Saints. The trade deadline just passed. They didn't trade for anyone to be their starting QB. Bridgewater was on the whispers of maybe going back to New Orleans.
I mean, the thing is, Taysom was potentially going to be the starter, so I wouldn't think that.
Yeah, he's coming from off a concussion, so it's not like he's coming off a knee injury or something that's going to affect his play. He's coming in with a lot of rushing upside, and this team is clicking with a good defense. So the game plan will be kind of what we saw Taysom Hill toward those like week 11 to week 16 last year, where he was a lot of fantasy value because he'll probably get you one rushing touchdown per game. Yeah. And then everything else, the yardage he gets from running, the yardage he gets from the passing game, will be pluses. And I believe a Taysom Hill here could be of more value than a Jalen Hurts.
That's what I was going to ask you. So that was going to be my name, Jalen Hurts. If we see that he's all systems go, Taysom's in, he's the starter, you're playing him over Hurts this week against the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm playing Taysom Hill over that. I own Jalen Hurts in a few leagues.
What about Kirk Cousins against that Baltimore defense that's looked better?
Oh, heck yeah. I'm starting Taysom Hill. He has the potential to finish out as a top 15 quarterback.
I think top 10 based on what you're saying here. So
yeah.
You're saying rest of season?
Rest of season.
Okay.
Like, he's got a little catch-up to do, but his running game, like, if he started from this week on, he could potentially be up there. Because you look at the quarterback volatility right now, the rushers have been safer. Like, Hurts is awful in real life, but his fourth quarter scrambling gives him fantasy value. You imagine a Saints team with a good defense and a good head coach. Taysom Hill will get you 25 points almost every game because of his dual quarterback potential.
Side note that I really didn't think about, but coming off kind of a down week for Alvin Kamara this week, he's been pretty good. But, if you can go get an Alvin Kamara, do you think this is an improvement for Alvin Kamara now that we've seen the RPO type of quarterback improve a running back's value? Do you think that's...
No, I don't think so. Remember when the debate at the beginning of the year when it was between Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston, people liked Winston better because there was more check down throws to Kamara, but when Hill was there, it wasn't so many check down throws because it was too much. Okay. If it was an RPO game, it was to Michael Thomas on the slant or a deep route if he wasn't handing the ball.
Or maybe even a Mark Ingram starts to become more valuable if he's more of that downhill runner.
Much more valuable with Taysom Hill at quarterback there.
Okay.
All right, so we go that to our sits of the week. All started off here. We kind of mentioned him earlier, but Devontae Smith against the Chargers, sit him. Single digits here. I can't understand the Philly offense. It really hurts my brain. But
yeah, because Kenneth Gainwell is a great start.
Yeah, Detroit defense. You only give 3 targets to like your good young receiver, and he gets 1 catch for 15 yards.
Well, in their defense, they were up big, so they probably didn't need to be throwing the ball.
Early game planning, like you want to get Smith involved, but even if you look at all of his targets he's gotten, hasn't gotten over 100 yards receiving all right, since week 4, and he's only had 1 touchdown. Now it's week 1.
Yeah, it's been rough. He's only eclipsed 15 points twice, and that's barely 15 in a 16-point game. So he's never been in your top 10 probably.
And I think it's more of the quarterback's fault than Devontae Smith. Hurts can't.
He's a good
find
dynasty ad, in my opinion. If you can go get him on the cheap, I think he's somebody that they're probably frustrated with and would sell.
Right. And so then they're going against the Chargers, which they've had some high-scoring affairs against their defense, but it's mostly the run game, not the pass game.
Yeah.
So if you have a running back, find out which one they're going to use this week in Philly.
Boston Scott.
Yeah, then it can look pretty good, but we're not quite sure. Sean, who's your sit for the week?
So my sit is the guy you said to trade or trade away, and I'm going with Jerry McNichols.
Yeah.
I would start Myles Gaskin over him. I need to see it first. I don't know what they're going to do with that. Bringing in Peterson, I think, does mean something. I think they do want to use Peterson, and it would not shock me if McNichols, is just the third down back all of a sudden. So I don't want to pick him up off waivers and then put him in my lineup. Now, you may be in a situation when you have to. I'm not saying that all situations you can't start McNichols, but just to show you, Myles Gaskin is somebody you have not wanted to start, but I would start over McNichols.
I agree with you. You have to wait a little bit on that and see if AP suits up this week, because he's better for that offense.
And they're playing the LA Rams, who now have Von Miller and Aaron Donald.
Yep. So that's a ridiculous defense they have to play against this week. All right, so Commish, that is everything. So I think we have for this episode. Is there anything else we need to add?
I don't think so. I think that's it. I think we're done. We're out of here.
We're out of here. This has been, I love talking this one. We got a lot of great news this week, great underdog stories. And if you're looking for start sit advice, listen to Sean, not to me.
Yeah, so when we, that's why I always put in there, if I'm commenting on the Facebook group, who it is.
We have to.
Didn't your roommate say this too? He's like, I need to know, be differentiated.
Who was this? Yeah.
Who was, because I'm not listening to Chris. And he's apparently right. Don't listen to Chris.
Oh, don't listen to me. I've been right a couple of times.
That's true.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. And listen to Sean. Listen to the voice guy here at the end. Follow us on all social media platforms. And we'll see you guys next week.
Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Coach and Commish podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Coach and Commish. And join our Facebook group called Fantasy Football Advice with the Coach and Commish for direct access to weekly waiver wire and start sit advice.